I'm on mute. Sorry. Yo, guys. Yo, guys. Yo, guys. Yo, guys. It's Old Man G here, back again. For some reason, I can't see the amount of people that are watching. So it's a little bit odd. I don't know why that is the case. But anyway, we're live. We're live. We're live. It's Old Man G, RDS here, back again with some breaking news. It's probably not going to be that big of a stream. I apologies for not going live before because of the the thingy game. I was working, as simple as that, really. And to be honest, I didn't really want to spend a lot of time going on about mine, but I will briefly touch upon my thoughts on the Grimsby game. And big up Len and G, hope you're doing well. Before we get into it, guys, remember if you are new to the channel, to like, share, and subscribe to Red Devil Studio. Follow us on Twitter and Red Devil Studio X, and smash that like button and that notification button so you know when we go live. So just a little bit of obviously recent breaking news. For those who have been living under a rock, as you can see in the tweet, Fabrizio Romano has posted breaking news: Alejandro Garnacho to Chelsea. Here we go. Deal done between Chelsea FC and United. Garnacho only wanted Chelsea and will sign 7-year deal at the club for a fee close to 40 million package. I mean, that's basically. I still don't understand how Chelsea are able to do this whole. I thought they'd stop this whole 6-7 year where they just basically spread, because people wonder what I don't understand is how is it that Chelsea are able to, isn't it called amortization with players? Like almost every contract they give to a player is 6-7 years, etc. Like it's a long bit. I don't get how they're able to. I thought the Premier League introduced a thing which says you couldn't have any contract more than 5 years. And yet, once again, big up SSB, hope you're doing well. But once again, Chelsea seems to be in a situation where they somehow were able to sign a player on a 7-year blood pact, which I just find insane. Obviously, it means that they can, because if you spread the transfer fee over 7 years, I mean that's pittance, isn't it? So I don't know. It's just weird. Like I just don't get how, Chelsea are able to do that. When Chelsea got bought after Roman, they got a clean slate. Maybe that's it. I don't know. It's weird. But it's just because. But what I don't understand is how is it that every other club? I don't see any other club doing this bar Chelsea. Like it's just weird. Like it's like they can sign. I mean, obviously, they've made a lot of outgoings. They've been able to, sell players. So I think that is part of it. But I just haven't seen a club ever do it like Chelsea have done it. Like it is just very, very, very strange to me. It is very, very strange. I just don't get it. I don't get it. But anyway, the reality is that that Garnacho is gone. Some people might say it's a good thing. I don't know. They are trying a baseball approach. Well, I mean, it's working because at the end of the day, they've been, with a few exceptions, they've been able to make a lot of profit on some of their sales. And this is, I think, one of the frustrating things as a United fan. Garnacho at one point last year under Ten Hag was rated close to more than 100 million. And he's been sold to Chelsea for just over 40 with a 10% add-on, So I just find it very, very interesting. But we'll see what happens. Lennon G says it's a bad thing because Garnacho was amazing. I did think Garnacho in the 4-3 was amazing. I'm not gonna lie. I wanted more. I wanted 60 million and a sell-on. 40 million isn't great, and a 10% sell-on clause isn't. If Chelsea sell Garnacho for 80 million, then we pocket 8 million. It's not that great, to be honest. I think I'd have preferred more, either a higher sell-on clause or a higher initial fee. But it wouldn't go. I don't think it works because football is more of a quality of a quantity sport. Yeah. I think at the end of the day, it was right for both parties, but especially during having it done this one, because obviously United are selling for pure profit because he's an academy player. So that is 40 million pure profit. I think that the consequence of that is that, the goalkeeping situation, I think, goes to the line. So I think you can definitely say that United will probably secure the Lemons guy as a new goalkeeper, which I think almost most United fans are desperate, to want. In the votes I see, it's about almost split. 57% say yes, 43% say no, not particularly happy with the sale. And, like I said, I agree with you, Lennon. I think Garnacho was definitely, I still think he was very raw, and he's still young. So there's a lot to improve there. There were a lot of times I was frustrated with his decision making, like a passing and unprofessionalism. But he's young. People say Garnacho's like, I'm just like, the guy's only, I think he's just turned 20. I know he's a dad already, but still, I think people expecting players to mature at that sort of, when you're seeing what Isak is doing at Newcastle, so, and to be honest, you can make a case that Garnacho and Mainu and a few others who had helped United get to the final of the Europa League had good grounds to be like, well, hang on a minute, we contributed to the Europa League campaign, and what AMORIM did, which I didn't think was right, was to start the likes of Mount and Shaw on certain players that hadn't been involved in the Europa League campaign, and at the end of the day, he lost. So I'm not AMORIM out. I'm not going to say anything like that. So, but I do question a lot of his decisions. And okay, you bring on the Deadwood. People saying, "Oh, he's been good. He's got the Deadwood." Okay, fine, but he's kept Bruno. And he's now trying to force him to be a midfielder. So I don't know. I still look at United team and manager that is trying to basically fit squares in round holes. But the reality is that in the system AMORIM wants to play, Garnacho just wouldn't fit. He is a winger. He's not a number 10. And he can't play at fullback. To be honest, I'd rather, like, in a weird way, I know Anthony's into Betis. I'd actually rather keep Anthony. Anthony was a half decent right wing back. I'd rather keep Anthony because he can play that role at least a bit better. And he was decent at the job. But Garnacho, I just think it's just a system. It's similar to Mainu, and I'm generally worried about Mainu going, but it just seems like to both of them in the 4-3-3, it could have worked. In the 4-3-3, it could have worked. The holding midfielder, and you play, maybe Casemiro, Mainu, and Bruno, or something like that. Maybe, although that's been tried before and that didn't work. But it just doesn't look like it's not working for them. That's unfortunate. But Chelsea want to get everyone like Donnarumma, even though they have a goalkeeper. Yeah, well, they have the money. They can. They want to compete in the Champions League. They want success. Chelsea, as much as I clown Chelsea and they were in disarray, and this is kind of, you're hoping that maybe in the future that we become that way. Oh, did someone say this? Was Ollie sacked? Someone said Ollie was sacked by Besiktas. Let me have a look. I was just going to confirm that. Oh, he was. Ollie was just breaking. 4 months and sacked Besiktas, took charge of. That's a bit harsh. It's a bit harsh. The 50 Ollie took them to steer them to fourth place finish last season, but after defeat by Swiss side Lausanne in the Conference League playoffs on Thursday, when the club would not be playing European football this season, the club dismissed the Norwegian. They said our contract manager has been terminated following a decision made at board meeting. Following the meeting, our chairman thanks for his services to date. Basically knocked out the European League qualifiers by Shakhtar Donetsk, Yeah, the forms. Okay, interesting. Okay. So they were knocked out of the European qualifiers by Shakhtar Donetsk, and then it looks like they were dropped into the Conference League playoffs and lost. So, but I don't know. It's the Turkish. There's a video on HITC Sports which shows what talks about Turkish football and stuff, and it's actually quite mad. Things a bit all over the place, and with the money that Galatasaray spent for the wife, but who knows? Because man, there'll be a lot of people seeing this and thinking, after what Amrins did, and we need positivity, there'll be a lot of people thinking maybe you give this guy a chance. Not everyone, but maybe. Let's have a look at the comments again. Let's have a look. Garnacho was greedy on the board sometimes. He was very greedy on the board. He's very greedy on the board. Sometimes. Mega says people want that guy back. I mean, can you blame the Mega? I mean, I don't agree with them, but can you, when you're losing to a League Two side in Grimsby, can you blame people? Like, as much as he did, but he never lost to Grimsby Town, Mega. That's the problem. I'm not saying I want him back. I'm just saying I do have empathy, sympathy with people who do say that it's like, because, and at least, like I said, I want to back our manager, but all the other managers United support at least gave something to hold on to, whether it was Ollie's PSG turnaround or getting into, and the following season getting into second place, getting to the finals. There's something that you could hold on to the Manchester back. Unfortunately, since Aaron has come in, there isn't anything. All he has is a 15th place finish, which wasn't entirely his fault. But given the performances in the season, you're now thinking, well, maybe it is his fault. And obviously, giving Tottenham their first trophy, goodness knows how long. The other guys at least have something that you could hold on to, unfortunately. So, a bigger people watching on Kick as well. It's difficult to know whether these people are genuine or bots. I don't know, but yeah, if you're watching on Kick, thank you. And if you want to follow me on Kick as well, please let me know as well. But yeah, I still think the price is low for him. He's obviously a very talented and experienced Premier League player. I mean, at the end of the day, it's criminal that Garnacho he's played in finals. He's the amount of experience that Garnacho has. It's a lot. He's got a lot of experience. So for whatever reason, why we are we're selling for this. Well, I know we're selling for it. We're selling him for it because it's we need to get money, we need some players, and we need to restore the dressing room. It is what it is. Leonard said, but now we lost the Europa League. Aaron now has more time. Well, you say that. He's had a preseason. You say that. He's had a preseason. And yes, okay, we're not in the Europa League, we're not in Europe, we're now not in the Carabao Cup. So we've got the FA Cup doesn't start until next year. So effectively, we've got one game a week until Christmas. Compared to playing on Wednesday when the Champions League starts, which is incredibly painful. But will it change? Will it change? I don't know. I think if you beat Burnley, and then you get a result against City away, then maybe some people might start to forget about things, and then you beat Chelsea. For me, the only way to get over this Grimsby result, if you're a United fan, is United need to win the next 3 games. They need to beat Chelsea, they need to beat City, and they need to beat Burnley, and they need to do them comfortably. If they do that, then people might go, okay, fine. If we can play like this and build momentum, because we only have 1 game a week, we can maybe do something. But right now, I just see the morale in the it's incredible what the morale of the club is right now. It generally is incredible. But yeah, like I said, respect to Garnacho's get his move. Let's see what he does. Maybe he blitzes it at Chelsea. Maybe he doesn't, because as Sancho realized, I mean, Chelsea. I don't really know. Sancho's another thing I don't really understand. Sancho is um I just don't know with Sancho. I think there was a deal in place for Chelsea. It didn't work, so I don't really get with Sancho, to be honest. But what I would say is that there'll be competition for places there. There'll be different scenarios. So it's not going to be easy for for Garnacho when he goes there. He is going to have to work really, really hard. Oh, it's David Ornstein's birthday today. Oh, shout out to him, man. Ornstein also said agreement with United to sign on a deal for 21. He's 21 years winger worth. I like how Ornstein puts more detail in his post. Though I have no issue with Fabrizio. I think Fabrizio was the is the GOAT. Not because he does do clickbaity stuff, but he was the guy who basically brought more integrity to transfer news. So I always respect the guy for what he's done. So yeah, Ornstein says Chelsea reach agreement with Manchester United to sign Alejandro Garnacho, deal for 21 worth 40 million, fixed fee plus 10% sell-on clause, contract 2030, which is 7 years. Mendes was good for London Friday as Argentina joins, and Itzy Cali and a few others did sort of say that it was going to be something like that, where he was going to join on Friday as well. This still was not a matter of if, it was a matter of when. So wish him all the best. Hope it works out for him. I hope this isn't set a precedent of United youth just being, and players just going, because you like the Mike's McTominay and everyone that are doing, really well and are, doing far, far, far better than, we are right now. You look at McTominay and you look at how he was treated and how he was abused and different things, and at the end of the day, he's balling at Napoli, isn't he? He is balling at Napoli, and we could have be honest. I'll be honest, especially against like Grimsby, we could have probably used McTominay's goals. You've still not replaced McTominay's goals, let alone the other guys. So yeah, it is what it is. So yeah, good going for Garnacho. Well, I'm not going to be as live as this late because the news is expected as I'm breaking. So I just want to quickly just touch on the Rasmus story. I'll quickly see if I can get that up. Just bear with me 1 second, everybody. Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Yeah, Isak's going to Liverpool at this rate after that. Yes. Okay, so I'll share this now. So let's quickly just finish off with Rasmus Hojlund and Napoli. I'm always going to go back to Hojlund. I'm almost spelling it wrong, so I'm sorry. Yeah. So it's sad for Hojlund, yeah, because I think it's just the amount of it's literally just that the manager rate Xerxes sort of. You've got Sesko in now, so what's going to happen? It was basically between Xerxes and Hojlund, and to be honest, like I'm not gonna lie, I don't know what I said this before. I don't know why he doesn't start. I'll say this once. Mount is not a false nine. He might be a decent midfielder, but he's not a false nine. He's not a striker. I'll be honest, I was amazed to see Mount playing false nine and starting that, and as we bed Sesko in when you got Xerxes there. I don't know why. I'm not saying Xerxes now, but I don't know why we couldn't. For me, from what I've seen in his technical ability and his decision making, it's better than Mount, and so far Sesko. And we saw that because when he came on against Grimsby, even though that's not Barca, things happened. So if you're gonna still bet in Sesko, for me, you start Xerxes and not Mount. But this is the thing, you make all these signs. It's like, does anyone kind of think about how, like, so in the system? So I'm going a bit around here, but it's just like the system. You have one striker and two number 10s. So you basically have three positions. You're not playing with wingers, really. You're just playing with fullbacks. So you have, but then you go in and buy two players to play as number 10, or that can potentially play on the left or whatever, in Cunier and Buemo, and who can also play as number 9, I guess, kind of. So you buy those two so they can potentially play as number 9, play as number 10, but then you use Mount to also then play as a number 9, as number 10. And then you need someone to play Bruno. So you basically have, as we saw in the games, 4 number 10s, and Buemo, Cunier, Mount, Bruno. You have Xerxes, who's also kind of number 10, I'm saying as well. So it's 5. And then a striker and Sesko. So you've got 5 number 10s for your system and a striker, which doesn't work. So you've got 5 people into, and you had Hojlund, obviously. So you have 7 people for 3 positions, which doesn't work, which is why Hojlund's going. And then you've got a midfield that is weird, and you're makeshifting Ahmad at right wing back, and obviously Dork is doing his thing. I don't know. It's a bit strange. So I wish Hojlund all the best. And as you can see in the tweet, it's a matter of short time, and Rasmus will become a new Napoli player. Napoli are confident to get Rasmus doing very soon, as talks final stages. So the agreement so far is that it's a loan with buy option clause to become mandatory for fee close to 45 million package. So we've got at least half, because I don't know how much you paid for Rasmus. Wasn't 70 million euro or something? So we've got more than half of it back. I think it means that United won't make a loss on Hojlund, considering the fees we paid, which is probably why Napoli are paying that. And obviously it's a loan with a mandatory loan to buy. So it is essentially goodbye to Rasmus. And I guess, with that news, you've got Garnacho for 40 and you've got Rasmus Hojlund and you're selling for 45. Does this mean that, United might go in for somebody? Because obviously AMORIM is probably thinking, like, I need a midfielder. I think this does secure the goalkeeper. Do Manchester United, but I wish him well as well, Lennon. Do Manchester United go in for do they go in for a goalkeeper and midfielder with that? Because we've now, I know you've made a bit of a loss on Rasmus, but it's not a loss on the books, I think, and you've essentially got profit from Garnacho. So do you go in and buy? In fact, let me make a poll of this. 50-50 with the Garnacho sale. Okay. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Bottom right hand corner, guys. I'll just say, are you happy with the sale of Rasmus? Okay, yes, no, and see, and vote and see, and let me know what you think. It's unfortunate. Like I said, I wish him well, just like you do, Lennon. There's also a part of me that just thinks that we need depth. we still need depth. You know, this is what happens if Sesko gets injured. You know, so what the solution for Sesko getting injured is to play Mount. You know, Mount's going to get injured. Like, no, I hope he doesn't, but like, there's easily a chance in December, given how injury prone our players are, that we're only playing one game a week and we're being rotated, is that Luke Shaw gets injured, Mount gets injured, and Buemo, Onana, who though he's basically non-existent, Matsuari, and Ahmad go in the AFCON. What do you have? You know, speaking of which, I'm hoping Matsuari and Martinez come back soon, because I think we have probably missed them quite a bit. Did Sesko duck pens to say wisely? Apparently he was from what I read, he was told that, I don't know whether from the manager, so I think maybe AMORIM probably wanted to protect him and made him last. But to be honest, I suspect he thought it wouldn't last that long. I suspect he thought he didn't, you know, I think let's be real. If Cunha, I don't know what, you know, we scored all our penalties up until, for me, the penalty shooter was not lost by Mbeumo. Mbeumo scored his first penalty, and it's always difficult taking a second penalty. Okay. For me, the penalty shooter was lost. Well, two things. Onana, obviously, the manager, and Cunha, because that penalty was crap. I was genuinely surprised. To be honest, I would have rather if Cunha was taking it, he took it earlier. I don't know why it wasn't Bruno or Bruno took it first, so it's fine. I don't know. But that penalty from Cunha was crap. Just there was no power behind it. It was very the people. I looked at that. I was like, has this guy actually taken penalties before? And if he hasn't, why is he taking them? Like, to be honest, I would have given it to Maguire. Give Maguire, like, Maguire knows how to, like, Maguire's penalty taking and striking seems to be far better than our forwards right now. Next time we're in a penalty shootout, give the ball to Maguire to take it fifth, because he actually can take penalties. He takes penalties for England. He's taken penalties before. I don't actually think he's missed a penalty for England or United when he's taken them. He took second penalty. This is what I'm saying. Second penalties are always harder to take. They are. So I don't blame him. We should have won that game. It should have been 100%. Kune should have scored it, and we should have been in the third round. Instead, he pissed around and placed it to the right-hand side into the bottom right corner with power. So that was Cunha's fault. And you know, I'm like the player, like the thing, you know, and he looks good. But it was disappointing, and it was a reality check. And I guess this is going on into my brief, because I've got AMORIM Future as part of it, so I might as well just quickly just touch on it before I finish. But yeah, we'll see what happens obviously after the international break. I think that's important to process and think about what's going on. But really and truly, Sesko had cramp. Yeah, probably. And truly, it looks like the board are going to stick with him. They're backing him, and so I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon. Are you happy with the set of Rasmus? More people say yes. Okay, fine. But fundamentally, the results are going to have to change. It's as simple as that, really. I just get David Potter vibes from AMORIM. I'm not going to lie. I feel like we're almost like in Chelsea's with the new ownership and the new management. We're in Chelsea's kind of like phase one, you know, where they've got the new owners, they've got the new boardship, they brought in and they made a decision. Ten Hag was basically Chelsea's Tuchel, where they'd given a bit of time, but didn't really want him, but kind of were confused because emotion, because trophy, because whatever. And then they sacked him. And then they now got their guy in AMORIM, like they did with Graham Potter. for Chelsea, or like they did they hire Lampard as an interim? I think they had Lampard as an interim, but they got their guy on Potter, and they wanted to stay, and they wanted to stay, and it didn't work out. They took ages because it was their guy. They backed him, they put them into, and they gave him ages, but eventually it didn't work out, and they sacked him. I just think that is the same thing with AMORIM. This is their guy. It looks bad on the board if they spend all this money, and in the following, less than a year, because AMORIM came in November, so less than a year since he's come, you've sacked the manager again. It looks very bad on Ineos, very, very bad. So I don't think they're going to want to do it at all. I just get Chelsea vibes here, and I just get the impression that yeah, it's going to happen, unfortunately. And we'll probably get another manager like Chelsea did in Pochettino, and it might be a little bit better, but it wouldn't work. And then we'll probably hire another manager, and then it will work. I think that's because United are still in a very much a transitional rebuilding phase that seems to be going on for ages, but it's more certainly exacerbated by the fact that we've got an Ineos ownership right now. So it is what it is. But anyway, Napoli obviously would obviously just to when that's confirmed. Hopefully this means that there is at least a little bit of cash for United. The transfer window closed on the 1st of April. We've got 29th, 30th, 31. We've got 4 days to basically sign a goalkeeper, which I think we will. I think that'll be our last signing. But with this sale, is there enough money for midfielder? I don't know. Do you go into Crystal Palace to get Wharton? I don't know. I would suspect, given the lack of murmurings, that it's the goalkeeper that we'll get with this. Jay Red says it should never have gone to penalty. You're right. We have to win that game. Crazy how bad we played, but if it's that manager, who do we get? Exactly. I don't know. I don't know anyone who's available. Well, I mean, they're players, but just will they be happy and could they work with this squad? Xavi's available. Ollie's now available. So there are definitely coaches available. It's just, can they work this squad and can they do it midway through the season? I think, unfortunately, you're gonna have to write off another season if it comes. I don't think it makes sense. We've not had a new, and the thing is, people say new manager bounce. We've not had a new manager bounce since Ollie. Ten Hag didn't really have a new manager bounce. He lost his first 2 games. And then he did a bit better, but it was no real bounce. And obviously, we lost heavily in certain games. Rangnick didn't. I mean, Rangnick got a little bit of one, so I'll give him that. So maybe since Rangnick, but AMORIM hasn't. He didn't get one. So, if we sack a manager, and he's now in the middle of the season, it's like, right, okay, your job is to build morale as an interim. It's going to be difficult. There's a case that maybe Ollie might have to come back. And I'm legitimately saying, I don't think it's a good idea, but there is a case that he might, if we sack AMORIM as an interim and he's free and you want someone to bring some positivity, it's going to be him. But you just say to him, it's an interim role. Falling for Garnacho is cheap, but falling with the manager puts it exactly. And this is the problem. I end with this. This is the problem with Manchester United, is that because Manchester United is such a media-heavy club, and that there's news reported from every single outlet, it does harm United. I tell players this as well. When we talk negatively about players all the time, it harms United. People don't talk that way about Liverpool, City, or Chelsea players. They keep them out of the media headlights. So then, of course, you pay 30 or something. They've got the positive reputation, etc. With United, 1, they know we're desperate for money, and 2, all the stuff is aired out. So it's like, okay, well, it's almost like the clubs are doing us a favor, and it's not right. It's not right. Anyway, guys, thanks everyone for watching. Remember, if you're new to the channel, like, share, and subscribe to Red Devil Studio. Follow us on Twitter at Red Devil Studio X. Smash the notification button so you know when we're live as well. I might be doing a watch along this weekend. I'm not sure because I really don't know what's going to happen with this football club. But yeah, let's see what happens anyway. I'm just trying to be positive, but it's a challenge. Have a nice day, everyone, and cheers. Peace.